A lot of y'all probably been seeing this case, right? With the young black man, his name's Carmelo Anthony, ironically enough. And it was a crime to where the twin brother was stabbed in the neck. And he died, unfortunately. Carmelo was the one who stabbed him. And again, it's been this whole controversy behind it because when it first came out, I remember. Now, again, this is what social media is, y'all. You got people of whoever they hop on these fake pages and they make false narratives or they say very mean things. So when it first came out, it was a lot of hatred towards Carmelo, and it wasn't a whole lot of truth behind it. Not saying truth, but it wasn't a lot of information behind it. They did do an interview with the young man's father, because he's a twin, and they had an interview with the father. Now, again, the father was just saying that, it was something of a, they were at school, it was something of a tent. I don't know if Carmelo was in the tent, he was under the tent. But again, one of the brothers, the twin brothers, came and he must have asked Carmelo, could he move? And from there on, Carmelo stabbed him in the neck. He bled out with his other brother holding him. And so again, that's what happened when it first came out. I remember that's what I had first read. I'm like, wow, I'm like, that's gruesome. Now at the end of the day, y'all wrong is wrong, right is right. And again, so I say that to say I'm only going based off the information for what I've known before. So when I seen it, I'm like, that sucks. A young black man like Carmelo Anthony, he now again, y'all kind of going now everything I say, y'all, I feel like always has, it's always correlating with something that I've said previously. Now again, nature versus nurture, y'all. Now from what I was seeing, the twin brother, he was an athlete. He was very known and around the school. I don't say he was popular, but he was well liked, I guess. Cool. But at the end of the day, I still don't know very much about Carmelo Anthony's background, his nurture and environment. But and again, I would hate to not hate, but to be biased towards the fact to just say like, oh, white people have a better upbringing than black people, and that's the reason why Carmelo stabbed him. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you do have to question why did Carmelo have a knife or whatever object that he had at school with him at that time. Now, again, that was my biggest question was like, what made him feel like he had to be at school with a weapon on him? You know what I'm saying? Now, again, more information came out, more information came out. Now, again, these other pages are coming out. Some people are backing Carmelo because what happened later on, I end up hearing is that Carmelo was being bullied. Now, again, I don't know for how long or, but again, within that instance, I heard that the twin brother he had grabbed Carmelo bag. He was just being not nice. I ain't gonna say, aggressive, nothing. Like, he just wasn't being nice. Now, at the end of the day, I will say this. The environment that I was raised in, bro, you do have the natural inclination to want to have to protect yourself. You know. Now, when I say that, you got people who bully, you feel me? That's just one thing, right? So you got two environments, bro. You got environments at home, you got environments at school. So at the end of the day, now again, I'm not trying to say this is just a black thing. You got kids of all minorities, even white kids who come up with bad backgrounds, bro. The nurturement and the environment that they grew up in is not nice. There could be assault, pedophilia, all type of weird shit going on behind these closed doors that y'all might not know about. So that's just only one environment, which is kind of almost the worst environment. But then when these kids make their way to school, now school is that second worst environment, right? Now again, I came from a small town, man. You know what I'm saying? Albion was cool. I went to Washington Gardner Elementary. You feel me? Or middle school, Washington Gardner Middle School. I went to Caldwell Elementary, and I went to Albion Public High School, bro. Now, did I witness bullying? Sure, most definitely. It's high school, but also did I witness other kids who came from less backgrounds than I did? For sure. Like I grew up in the projects, bro. My mom worked a job, public housing, but at the end of the day, like my mom was an alcoholic, but not like a raging alcoholic. You feel me? Like she still had a job. The crib was taken care of. We had food stamps, so it was food in there. You feel me? Like shit. My mom was a fan of Renter Center, still to this day. So the whole crib was Renter Center out. You know what I'm saying? I remember them knocking at the door trying to come get their monies because moms ain't paid in a minute. You feel me? But I would tell y'all right now on live on this stream, bro. I didn't have a bad childhood. Did I have the best nurturement? No, I did not. My pops ran the streets. My mom was alcoholic. She worked a lot, so it wasn't a lot of cuddling and coddling. Is that what they say? Cuddling. Um, But at the end of the day, it was safety that was in there. I felt safe always at with my mom. I always felt safe with my dad. I never was hungry. I never was assaulted. I never was touched. None of this shit like that, right? So again, with all that being said, y'all, it's like you got two kids who got separate backgrounds. Now, again, we don't know. Now, from again, this is what the media is putting out. The media is saying that the twin brother is a well liked white kid. He comes from this good background from what we can get from him, right? Now with Carmelo, we don't know a whole lot. And this is what the media does. They want to try to get out the narrative of the good kid first so they can bash the bad kid. And like I said, when I seen it, I'm like, wow. And I just hated the fact that Carmelo was a black kid, right? Would I have gave a fuck if it was a white kid? Not at all. I'm just being honest with y'all. But with him being black, I just felt like the scrutiny was just gonna be at an all-time level. And some of these fake pages, bro, they were saying some very, very mean things about Carmelo, calling him a murderer, saying that he should be locked up for the rest of his life, saying that he even shouldn't even be alive right now, that his life should have been unlived before the other kid was. You feel me? Now again, this is the narrative. So then now it's coming out that the kid was a bully. He might not have been the best kid, but at the end of the day, he was tormenting Carmelo. And we don't know, y'all. We wasn't under that tent. We don't know. So we only going based off what was said, right? But at the end of the day, the biggest question is why did Carmelo feel like he had to pull that knife out and stab that little boy in his neck? Was that his intent? Maybe not. Maybe he just wanted to get him up off of him. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he felt like his life was in danger, and that was his first reaction was to have this object to say, "Hey," and he just poked him. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But again, my point being is if I had to be empathetic, if I had to put my 2 cents in, I feel like Carmelo has something else going on outside of school. He had something else going on in a different environment that made him feel like he had to carry an object on him at all times. Now, again, now I'm reading an article right now. Let me see. This is now again. This is the page is Corey Brooks, rooftop pastor. He has 3.7 following and 32K followers. So again, pretty prominent page. Cool. And this is what his page says. This case has exposed how broken our conversation around race really are. A young man is involved in an alleged crime, and instead of waiting for the facts, people around him weaponized identity politics. He didn't pull the race card, but they did, loudly, for power and profit. Money flows his way just because he's black. Then others condemn all black people because of him. Both sides missing the point. Some yell, let's fix the culture, but they're chasing clicks. Even the judge, a Republican with a record, gets attacked for her race, not her ruling. The truth, when race is the only lens, it blinds us to the justice, and those screaming the loudest aren't trying to heal, they are trying to hustle. Because in today's culture, the race card is still too valuable to put down, which is valid. You feel me? Now, and that's why I'm sitting here now trying to. I'm not making it about white and black, y'all. You feel me? I didn't say Carmelo is a black kid and he always got to protect himself, and the other kid was just a white kid and he doesn't have any need to protect himself. I never said that, and I want to clarify that. What I said was that nature and nurture, bro. Nature and nurture is a real thing, and from what the media put out, from what we like they said, it was weaponized against identity politics. You feel me? Like they like to say black men are aggressive. The gang members, the YNs. We get these type of labels. You feel me? But then you get the young white man, who said, "Oh, he's a prominent athlete. He's good in his community. He was a boyfriend. He was a father. He was so many of these other things." And then sometimes when you dig a little bit deeper, you come to see that he had his own issues. And I'm not talking about this kid specifically. I'm just saying in general that you have to dig a little bit deeper sometimes, y'all. Before you come out of pocket and just say it's a white and black thing, you have to do a little bit more research. You feel me? Now, again, when everything started to come out and it started to come off as if it was self defense, right? Carmelo was blessed with a black judge. Now, again, this is the thing that people try to use, right, to weaponize, right? Again, she's a Republican, so they're trying to say even though she's black because her being a Republican, she's supposed to throw this young black man under the cell because we assume that all Republicans are white. But this year alone, it showed you in voting that a lot of black people actually voted for Republican. They voted for Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Democratic Party didn't win. A lot of people feel like the Democratic Party isn't actually for the people. And that's why some people are being Republicans because they're saying Republicans actually get the job done. But again, she's black. So a lot of people are saying that it's a black on black thing, saying that because she's black. Because again, what happened was Carmelo was able to get his bond lowered from I think it was like $1 million to like almost like a quarter million or something like that. But the fact that he was granted bond, all these things, people want to kind of correlate race and say, oh, because she's black and he's black, she let him off. But then they'll still try to say that she's a Republican and try to use that as a weapon too to try to also go against her and say that she's wrong because she is a Republican, like other white people. She was supposed to throw Carmelo under the bus, under the system, because he killed a young white man. So again, y'all see how this shit again is weaponized. You feel me? Before the cards are even all laid out on the table, the main spade, the motherfucking main ace of spade is the race card, y'all. They're going to say that the black man is this, he's this, he's that. Then they're going to say that the white kid or the white man is a person of his community and he was a business owner and all these things. But again, y'all, that's why I love the let me see what's the word I'm looking for? Not controversy, but the good and bad of the internet. Because sometimes you'll see a lot of people on the internet siding with something, being super biased towards one thing, and then sometimes you'll see a few people only being biased towards again a situation like this. You at first a lot of people like hell yeah, throw Carmelo under the system. A kid at school with a knife killed a white kid, sure throw him under the system. But then now I got to looking more. I'm seeing more people, real pages, black people, and some white people saying that no, it was self defense. He was defending himself. And because of that, he should not be scrutinized. He should not be thrown under the system. He should be given a fair trial and be treated fairly in a court of law, which as he should. You feel me? And at the end of the day, y'all, I feel like as a black man, again, y'all, I have mixed kids. You feel me? The mother of my children are white. I've been scrutinized. Oh, you love white girls and you'll never leave those white girls alone. And it's just so much disconnect, y'all. Like, but at the end of the day, if I didn't like women, if I was gay, hypothetically, if I was gay and I just like white men, I would still get scrutinized by the black community, or I would still get scrutinized because they would say, "Oh, not only do you like white men, but you're gay also." You feel me? And like people like to double down on more shit. The race card is already won, but then you got sexuality, you got gender, you got religion, and then when you add all that shit and compile all that shit on top of that, bro, now you got somebody that's like, "Oh, yep," and then you got people choosing sides. I'm a neutral guy, y'all. I'm just that's where I am, and I'm neutral. I'm throwing my 2 cents in there, man, but I'm never gonna be the one to say, you know what, I'm choosing sides. Because at the end of the day, some of my views, y'all, somebody they might not rock with, dude. You know what I'm saying? I could sit here and say free Palestine or whatever, and there's gonna be somebody else who's gonna say F you for you feeling and seeing that way. You feel me? Now, again, my point being, y'all, is at the end of the day, Carmelo, and again, another thing is Carmelo had a GoFundMe page because people were trying to raise money to get him out of jail. Carmelo raised more money than the other white kid who actually passed away. So again, y'all, this goes to show you that you got to do your research, man, before you decide that you want to pick sides and choose sides and say, hey, okay, yeah, he killed the white kid at school and blah say blah. Y'all have to figure out the facts of it all, man. And at the end of the day, one thing I'm a firm believer is if you're not there, if you were not a witness, a valid witness under that tent, anything that happened, bro, that's only your opinion. You're only going based off of what's getting put out on the internet, unless you're a part of the actual crime scene or the task force that's going around investigating and asking questions, bro. You don't know shit of shit. You're just putting out your own biased opinion. And your 2 cents really don't matter of shit. That's just your opinion. You feel me? If you thought the color red was better than the color blue, who gives a fuck? That's just your opinion. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, some people want to stand on these things. I would never say don't not change how you feel because somebody feels the opposite way. But at the end of the day, don't be biased towards opinion because you're like, oh well, I don't think Carmelo did it, or I don't think I think he did it in self defense. But then you look and then you see the other side. They're more, they're more. It's more of them saying no, he did it just for you to be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't ever feel bad for the way that you feel, bro. How you feel is how you feel, but understand that your opinion is just an opinion. It's not factual based at all. You was not there. You were not a part of it. You, all you have is just your opinions, bro.